We are Witches Who Podcast.
Hey, Shelby.
Hey, Dee.
Anything weird happened to you lately?
So I've been having these insane dreams lately, and it's really weird. So normally I'm just so tired all the time, and all I want to do is sleep all day. And it's been like that, right? And so the other night, all of a sudden, I was so tired, like so ready for bed. And I crawled in bed at like 8:30 and just like laid there, and then all of a sudden just like wasn't tired anymore and like could not go to sleep. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll try to read. Couldn't focus to read. I couldn't even focus to watch any TV or anything like that. Like I just like could not, like it was just such a, I felt like I was in a haze almost, but it was so strange. And then finally I like drifted off to sleep probably around like 9:30 or so.
Okay.
And then I woke up again at like 11 and just had this like overwhelming like sensation of like I was hot but also cold all at the same time. It was like, you know how when you have like cold sweats kind of like that. And I couldn't remember my dream, but I knew that I had one. And then I woke up again and the same thing happened. And it was like this weird like domino effect of like I kept waking up having this like cold sweat sensation, but I couldn't tell if I was dreaming it or not. So I was like, so I kept waking up in the dream, like waking up, but I was in my bed and everything was normal.
You're like in a loop.
It was like I was in a loop. It was so freaking weird. And then finally I woke up, and I know I woke up because I had to pee, and it was like midnight.
Okay.
And I went pee, and then Tucker was like all pissed because I, disrupted his sleep. And so I crawled back into bed and I got all my blankets on, and I like totally immediately fell back asleep, like so fast.
Okay.
And I had this dream, and it was just, I was underwater and I was like swimming, and I kept on like losing articles of clothing like as I was swimming, and the water was this like beautiful like blue green color, and I could see like kelp and like all these beautiful like underwater like sea plants and stuff. And then finally I was like naked, because I lost all my clothes for some reason. And I'm like swimming in this, and I never came up for air, and somehow I'm fine to breathe. It was so strange. Okay. And then I like jolted awake at like 2:30 and was like, what the heck was that? Like, it was so peaceful. And I was like, that was the whole dream. But I fell asleep, what did I say, like 11 or midnight? Yeah. So 2 hours later, that's how long that dream was. Like, I was swimming for 2 hours. Like, I don't know. It was like so long.
Maybe the cold sweats were preparing you to go like so underwater. Weird. Was the water warm? As you were describing it, I'm just feeling like the water.
And then you could like see the sunbeams coming through from the surface. It was so like serene. There was nothing else around. There was no other noise other than just like the water move. And it was like, that muffled sound. And it was so cool. And then I went to sleep, and that was it. I woke up the next morning just fine, but it was so weird that like I couldn't go to sleep, kept having this weird loop of cold sweats. And then that was my dream. It was like so calm and so serene. I was like, this is like odd.
What if the loop was preparing you for that dream? Because maybe while you're swimming, going down, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't come up for air. Like click yourself out of the dream, and they wanted you to
be able to stay in the dream. Yeah. I don't know, but
who knows? That's strange.
It was super weird.
How old are you again?
Yeah, right. 31. Like what the heck? How? Like what? I don't know.
Yeah. How interesting. Oh, that is fascinating. It sounded really beautiful. It sounded very. Oh, you know what it reminded me of? On Sam Patty's episode, we talk about the different beings. Was it on Sam Patty's episode that we talk about the different beings and the merman?
Yeah, like the what was it called?
The banshees? No, not the banshees.
No. Oh crap! I don't remember what they're called.
Yes,
but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It reminded me of that. I was like, "Ooh, were you one of those?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh, maybe.
Maybe you had like, what was it, like the seal skins, the silkies?
Oh, selkies.
Selkies.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah. Shed my skin.
I know. It's like I'm shedding my clothes. You were shedding your skin.
Oh my god. I didn't think about that. Maybe that is it. And that's why I didn't have to come up for air.
Yeah.
Because so weird.
You were just in your element. Ooh, how fun. Well, that's a fun, weird dream, but fun dream.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, actually. But
yes. Well, hello, everyone. We are back.
Yes. Here we are. I'm Shelby.
I am Dee.
And we are Witches Who Podcast.
Boo-hoo.
What are we talking about today?
Well, You know what? What did we call this episode?
I think we're calling it Moon Magic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can change it, but
Oh,
I have a lot to say about that.
So we're going to talk about the different cycles of the moon. And so I believe we're going to begin with you because I'm going to talk about like the relationship with like the correlation between the moon and the moon cycles of menstruation with women and our own moon cycles. And all that fun stuff, which I'm very excited. I did research, but I try not to read too much into the research because I wanted to be surprised when we were actually reading it. I was like,
oh, that's so cool.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I did a little bit more about wanting to talk about like the magic side of the moon. So there's every moon phase is associated with a different, like different energy, right? And there's rituals that you can do for each moon phase and stuff like that. So before I kind of jump into it, I mean, we all hear like full moon, new moon. What about all the other ones? You know what I mean? Yeah. But do you have any like rituals or anything that you do on the full moon or the new moons or just in general?
I do. I've been really bad lately of actually executing them, but I do. Like I love to collect moon magic, right?
Yeah.
Around the full moon, like setting up crystals. More of a release for me with a full moon. So I would sometimes like write things that I really want to let go, then burn them or bury them. Sometimes I like to like write them and then put like water on them and then destroy them and then bury them.
I like that.
I like to really make sure that I'm getting rid of them. And with the new moon, I like journaling. Okay. New moon always for me just symbolizes like the beginnings and just bringing about things that I want to create.
Yeah.
So, but that I'm not very familiar also. So that's why I'm so excited for this episode because, you know, you collect moon water, do moon baths, of course, howl at the moon.
Yeah.
But me, I think I go more into like intuitive practices when it comes to that.
Totally.
And,
which is,
yeah, but I'm super excited to like have actual rituals of like, sometimes I would take, I will draw myself a bath.
Yes,
during both
that
of
is
them.
a big one.
So I haven't done that. It takes a lot of effort sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
But it feels amazing, right? So
totally.
But yeah, those is probably my limited knowledge on kind of what to do with the moons. But I, like you said, there's so much more, and I'm very excited to hear. And also because when you hear about the moon, like new moon, full moon, and it's like in a sign, right? It's like in this with the zodiacs and things like that. And I'm just like, well, what does that mean? I'm not so sure. And then there's like the chirons and all these other things associated with it that I'm still very like ignorant to it. So
yeah, I mean, totally, me too. Like I'm not an astrologist by any stretch of the game, but the way that I like to think about it too is this work is intuitive. Like that's what it is. And the human body is what, like 60-70% water. And the moon controls the tides, right? So like we have just knocked over my water. We have the moon rules over us a lot, regardless of if you're male or female. And female more essentially just because of our menstrual cycle, right? Because our menstrual cycle is that 28 days that follows the moon cycle every month. And so I know we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So there's so many different rituals that you can do. And so what I'm going to do is kind of just go through the phases of the moon and kind of share what they represent and different rituals that we can do during each phase, essentially. So let me grab this.
Yes.
I also have a really cool moon deck that I will share with you guys.
Look at you. You drew all that, right?
I did. This is
show it to all the peeps watching
my
YouTube.
little art.
Look at this. It looks literally like what is it? Calligraphy, like well done.
Well, thank you.
It's just so much patience.
This is my little book of shadows.
Oof. I love it.
But so the moon phases, so new moon, just like how you said, it is a time to reset, essentially. Plant seeds, set intentions. It's that reset time to manifest, right? That this is your time to kind of wipe the slate clean and start anew. And so during the new moon, there are millions of rituals that you can do. So it's not a time of release. That is full moon. And so during this time of reset, you can obviously take a rest. It's a great to slow down. So a bath, great. Hot tea, whatever you do in like the means of self-care, start there first, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I'm sure you've heard me say that 7,000 million times. And then when you come from it from a place of like this pure reset of just this, you're in a good place physically, mentally, that is when you can truly manifest what you want.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be in high energy for yourself, in homeostasis, totally aligned. And that's how you manifest. And so that's kind of where the new moon time is okay, what do I need to be able to reset so that I can manifest? Right?
Got it.
So whatever that looks like for you. I like to do baths. I like tea a lot. I like just kind of snuggling up, reading a book. Meditate. This is a great time to just kind of open your channel and open yourself up to maybe new messages, or just kind of start to see like, what actions do I want to take? We're not taking the action yet, but we're planning. It's like that planning stage, right? Yeah. And then it starts to move forward. So the waxing crescent. So this is when the moon is starting to get bigger now. And this is a time to really refine your plans. So you found this grand idea, that this action you want to take. Now you refine it. Okay, is this realistic? How do I get there? What does that really look like? So what is that, what kind of ritual would you do around there? Yeah. Again, meditation, writing. I like automatic writing during this time is a great way to do that. And yeah, so you're really just
Can
kind
we
of
share what automatic writing is for those that may not know what automatic writing is?
Totally. So automatic writing is you kind of settle yourself down into a meditative state. You have your pen or a pencil. I like a pen, that way you aren't tempted to erase. And you just literally, you follow one train of thought, and you're opening your channel. So you're, a lot of people can channel spirit or whatever through, and it ends up being like not their message, right? But you just literally start writing and you don't stop. I like to set like a 2-minute timer and just go, 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 go. You don't even it doesn't even have to make any sense to you at the time. Like you just write. And you don't stop. Even if you start to lose your train of thought, I lost my train of thought. You keep writing it out. Like you just go. And a lot of stuff can come through there. And that's one of my absolute favorite rituals.
I love that. I'm doing that.
Okay, so the moon keeps getting bigger. So we're in the first quarter moon. That means the moon is about half full here. And that is when you start to take your action. So you've set your plan, you've refined the plan, and now you're going to execute the plan. Got it. Right? Yes, this is when your energy is super high. And I'm super curious later when we kind of look at this through the lens of like the feminine cycle, because I feel like this is going to line up pretty perfectly. But anyway, so the first quarter, so the moon's half full at this point, and you're taking action. So you've set the plans, and now you're putting them in motion. And what does that look like? Get outside, get active. Whatever those things you want to manifest, you're putting that energy into it, right? This isn't a time to just kind of sit back and watch and wait for things to come to you. No, go get them, right? I think for a lot of us, like we'll sit here and manifest and be like, why isn't any of this happening? Well, you still have to do like, yes, there's a place to allow and let happen, but there's also a place of action. Like you still have to go work and you still have to do the work, right? So this is a place, do the work. It's time to go get what you want, right? And once so new moon, found your plan, waxing crescent, refine the plan. First quarter, you took that action. Okay. Then we're at waxing gibbous. It's where the moon is almost full. And this is where you trust the process. You did all the right steps, you took action, and now you're waiting. You're waiting for all those things to kind of come to fruition, that manifestation that you put out, and that
Probably
you did the work.
Toughest time.
It's the hardest time.
Like trust,
right?
It's like leaning even a little, a little more into trust.
Okay, so it's in this place of allowance and surrender. Like, okay, like trusting yourself that you showed up for yourself, that you did the work, that you had this, you did it, So just take a beat.
Okay.
Let all the energy settle, let it come to you, right? So like I was saying earlier, there's a place and a time to take action and to also allow. Now we're in that place of allowing. And then we get to the full moon. And this is where you reap all of the benefits. This is where you celebrate your actions. You celebrate your plan. You celebrate all of those things because you're starting to see the blossom, right? You're starting to see all those things that you worked for working and setting in place and moving in the right direction. So the celebration of the full moon. The full moon is also a great place to shed. It's a great place to release the energy that is standing in your way. Which is where a lot of the rituals of like fire ceremonies come in, like you were talking about, where you kind of write out what you're ready to release, you burn it in the fire. There's lots of rituals around that you can do. You can bury the ashes. There's, whatever that looks like. If you don't have access to fire or you're not comfortable with that, you can also flush stuff down the toilet.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Just make it,
Not if you have septic.
biodegradable. Yeah, if you have septic, don't do it. It's just gonna sit in the septic thing, please make sure it's like biodegradable paper or like ocean safe, that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely something you can do. Different herbs. You can do a simmer pot here. Ooh. And I like doing simmer pots, one, because it makes the whole house smell so good. Okay. So you basically just put a pot on the stove, fill it with water, and you're just boiling different like herbs and spices and stuff like that. And it creates this beautiful aroma, but it also can stimulate different energies in the house.
Ooh. Why not do that? I've never done that.
Yeah. My favorite one is orange slices and clove. And then some cinnamon sticks. Oh, it's so good. Nice. But usually like I'll do them for different seasons. Yeah. But I love doing full moon ones, and there's lots of stuff that you can do with that too. There's also one of my favorite things to do are spell jars. So you create a little spell jar with, you can do this for any moon phase too, like whatever herbs, whatever base you want, salt, sand, different herbs that mean, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And different crystals for the same reason. And then you seal it with wax. And that can be, your manifestation.
Your intention.
Your intention.
Okay.
Totally. And you can also use it for a release. You can write on a little piece of paper what you need to release, stick it in your spell jar, and you can fill it with oil.
Oh.
Fill it with oil. And then another thing, oil's flammable. You can light it on fire.
Please be safe,
One
people,
fun
if you're
thing,
doing this.
Yes, be safe. One fun thing too is if they're glass, you can literally take them and smash them in fire.
Oh, yeah.
So they kind of like explode a little bit. Yeah. I mean, be careful, glass and shards and all that stuff. But yeah, it's kind of fun.
Don't do it indoors.
Yeah, do not do that indoors. Definitely. But yes, so the full moon is a celebration, a time to let go of all the other crap that's standing in your way, all those limiting beliefs, and celebrate the work that you have done up until that point.
Love that.
And it keeps going, right? Okay, so then now the moon is getting smaller, so that's waning. So waning gibbous, it's a time to receive. You have done all the work, you celebrated the work, and now you just get to be.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
So were we in waning gibbous earlier also?
We were in waxing.
Oh, waxing.
Yeah, waxing means getting bigger, waning gibbous is smaller.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
So waning gibbous is, it looks kind of like the waxing gibbous, but it's the opposite side, if that makes sense. So the moon is getting smaller now, and we've done all the work. We celebrated the work. We've released our limiting beliefs, and now it's just time to receive our manifestations, receive the benefits, receive all of that beautiful energy, and just be in it and proud and ready. Yeah. Right. And then the last quarter, the moon is half full again, but it's getting smaller. So it's half new. Half new. And this is a place for breath. Oh, let's actually go back. So waning gibbous, I forgot to talk about like the rituals we can do.
Oh yeah.
So receiving rituals. So freaking cool. So a really cool thing that you can do, and obviously be safe, like set up like your white light field, like only allowing, high vibrational energies in and out, like, that's what you want. So I like to kind of create this ritual, set up your space where you kind of call in a circle. So you're setting like a witch's circle essentially.
Oh yeah.
And the 4 directions, and you kind of cast that circle. So you're creating this bubble of energy. And however you want to do it, I use incense and I go from each direction, and I call in my guides and I call in my ancestors and all that stuff, and I feel the bubble around me, and this is where I'm ready to receive. And I start to visualize my crown chakra opening at the top of my head, like literally like a little door or cabinet or whatever, opening up. and I'm just receiving downloads. So I'm asking for information. I'm asking to receive my manifestation, and you feel it. You can see, visualizing the energy coming in through the crown of the head, feel that energy and just filling your body with this energy. It is such a powerful experience, and it really does. I mean, you can do it without casting the circle, but try it with the circle because it makes it just so much more powerful. One, because I think it's that intention that you're setting yourself up, and it's also you're safe so that you can let your guard down enough to be able to be more receptive.
Would you recommend having like a journal as you're receiving, just to like journal?
Yeah,
or just,
I mean, if that works for you. I can never, for some reason, do that. I mean, my eyes are closed almost the whole time anyways. And for some reason, it doesn't work for me to write it down. I just internalize, and it's more of like I think a feeling for me than it is anything else of like actual words.
Sounds like an activation that you're doing.
Totally.
It's like download, like activate all those parts of me that are maybe dormant.
Yes,
or
that I'm finally ready for, that I'm finally ready to turn on and work again.
Ooh, I love that. Ooh, I want to try that. As you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this outside. I can like draw a circle in the ground and do the 4 directions.
And sound. Use sound as well. That's a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's usually you'd use 3 tones.
Okay.
And you can set that up, and I can if you're on our Patreon, I will set it up. I'll show you how to cast the circle with sound and
yes, please,
all that stuff.
Because I want to learn about that too.
Yes. So join our Patreon. Okay.
$5 a month. You gotta let us know.
Okay, so that was the waning gibbous. That's our receiving time. So now back to the last quarter. This is the time to breathe. So you look at all of the work you have done. This is one cycle, and you do this every month, right? Yeah. And you do this without knowing it every month anyways, right? So if you were just a little bit more mindful, I'm not saying you specifically, I'm just saying in general.
Feeling called out. We'll follow.
If we were just a little bit more mindful, think of like how much you could really pull in. You know what I mean? So we're in this place. We just received, we celebrated, we're receiving all these things and these downloads, and now we're going to breathe with it. We're going to sit in it, kind of like trusting once again, but it's more of like integration at this point. We're integrating the knowledge that we just received. We're integrating that new information, that new DNA. And it is actually pretty natural at this time to start feeling physical symptoms.
Oh, okay.
So you'll start feeling, I mean, not for everybody, but as you start to get more in tune, you'll start to feel different symptoms in your body throughout the entire moon cycle. But this is where I first started to feel it. And I feel mostly, I think for most people, this is like the bigger one, because you're in this heightened state of awareness all the way up until this point. And you're fully activated, or the parts of you that you asked for are activated. You received a download and your DNA is active. Different cells are active. You're starting to kind of regenerate now and settle back into another cycle. Yeah. So
I love that.
Breathe. Yeah. It's natural at this time to feel almost exhausted and that you need a break, because we're getting to that point. We're getting to that reset once again. So breathe through it. Take in all of that energy that it was a lot of energy you just used right through that whole cycle. And these are, happening pretty close to you. There's only 4 weeks in a,
How about that day, the months that we have like a double full moon?
Totally wild. I don't even know how do we get anything done. Yeah. So crazy. Okay. But different breathwork techniques are great here. So if you practice Kundalini yoga, Kriya is great during this time. Any breath to movement yoga, breath work is just great. Okay. So waning crescent is the last phase before we go back into the new moon. And this is a time of reflection. This is the time to kind of look back on the month and be like, okay, these are all of the things that I've done. What do I want to do different next time? Or what do I want to, how can I elevate this? Or what am I looking forward to? We're not planning just yet. It's just, wow, let's recognize the work that we've done. Let's recognize how far we've come, and let's reflect on all of the things that really happened. And why is that important? And I think that's such okay, we talk a lot about reflect. Okay, we don't want to live in reflection, of course, but my foot's falling asleep. But it's super important to recognize yourself, right? Because if we never take a beat to look at how far we have come, to look at all of the things that made us who we are, how can we be fully appreciative of what we have in the moment, right? I don't think we're fully accepting ourselves if we're not really recognizing the work.
Absolutely.
Right. And we deserve that. We deserve that validation, right? We did that. We did that work. We own that. And we deserve to be valid, to validate our own feelings in that moment, right? So reflect on that time and try not to give yourself like, oh, I should have done this. Or, oh, I didn't put my water out during the full moon, or I didn't recharge my crystals, or oh, darn it. But it's a time of, how would that have been impactful? Like, would that have been impactful, you know, or what got in my way during that time, right? Not feeling bad about ourselves of like, I prioritized spending time with my family instead of putting my crystals outside. Yeah. Okay, well that, you know, like good for you. You should have done that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's taking that time to really reflect and kind of rebalance the priorities a little bit and be like, okay, maybe this next cycle, I'm going to do both somehow, right? Or I'm going to bring my family along with me in this ritual or something. You know what I mean? Like, and then, you know, we reset the whole cycle. Now it's the new moon again, and we do the whole thing over and over and over and over again. Yeah. And here's the thing.
But this time better.
Yeah, right. It sounds like, holy shit, that's so much work. Yeah. But you don't have to do a ritual for every single one. I don't. Yeah. Like, there's no way. Usually I'll do what I feel called to. In like, I like the new moon I like the new moon a lot, mostly because I like to drink tea and chill. But I feel like it's a time that I can kind of like wrap up some of the stuff. Like I can reflect during that time as well. You know, like this isn't like Bible, you know what I mean? Like just because
it's not commandments that you have to
exactly
abide
you know, it's like nothing bad's gonna happen if you don't do them, or if, you know, you reflect on the new moon instead of on the waning crescent. You know what I mean? Like,
of course,
you can still do that, and it's still powerful too.
Intention each time, just awareness. Like now that you're talking about it, it's like, ooh, where are we today? We're gonna be doing. When is the next one?
Yeah, and that's it. I have no idea where we're at right now.
I know.
I don't know. I know we just had an eclipse, so there's that.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so that's kind of the cycles of the moon. And again, as women, we are highly ruled by the moon. Yeah. And then I know you talked about a little bit earlier of like, you know, all these different phases are in different zodiac signs and different houses and all this stuff. And that can just amplify certain things in a different way. So, you know, if you're, I don't know, in a new moon and in I don't know, Libra, then that's a great time to balance your energy, right? So do self-care acts that also promote balance, right? So it's like you just kind of pair them up in that way, and also you can just follow a bunch of people on social media that'll tell you what to do. But
I know there's always I just realized there, I was like, oh my gosh, there was like 3 people that I follow that are super pro and like like very accurate, and I'm just like, I'm gonna look at their stuff and see what resonates with me.
There's some really good
Are you
ones.
pulling a card?
Yes. Okay. So I wanted to share one more thing that I didn't share during the moon cycle thing. Things that you can do is you can pull a card.
Oh, I love that.
At every phase, you know? And this is one of my favorite decks. So this is called the Moon Deck.
Oh, yes. I love that one.
I know. Have you? It's by,
I don't have it.
Arona Leah. It's written by Arona Leah and illustrated by Andrea Kay. I don't know, but it looks like this.
Super cute.
And it also comes in this amazing box.
I was going to ask you because she has this wooden box with like the moon on it. Yeah. And I thought you had like purchased it and wood burn it yourself.
No, I am not that fancy.
Oh.
No, I bought like the the fancy edition. I think it's this card.
I love that.
Which
wow.
I like that card a lot. But this deck is so fancy. It's so beautifully illustrated, and it has a guidebook, but it has very like little quotes on them. And I just dropped the deck, so apparently this is my card. And it says, "When I let others shine, I shine too." And that's totally like what I was going with. And it's 3 ladies naked dancing around a full moon.
Probably just coming off the water, like you were in your dream. That is awesome.
Isn't that so beautiful?
And it's so cool that it's the 3 ladies, because you have the 3 ladies on your arm. That is you and your friends
with the moon.
Dancing.
I do. Look at. Oh, you can't see it. Well, whatever. You guys can kind of see it. Okay, whatever.
Visit Fallbrook so you can see.
Yeah.
Don't stalk
How
her.
cool is
Don't
that
stalk her.
though?
Ooh, I want to pull one.
Yes, please.
Ooh,
And
let's
it also
see.
has this really cool guidebook that has the moon cycles chart in the back and kind of will tell you like the representations of the moon, their healing
Does it
abilities.
have a ritual also or no?
There are rituals with each card.
I like the
as
weight
well
of this
as
one.
in the back there's there's a lot of really cool information in here, but it talks about calling the 7 directions to open a circle. I don't call the 7 directions, I just do the 4. Yeah, full moon circles. There's a bunch of different rituals, how to smudge, how to pray, different tips, new moon circle, purging circles.
Aw, I got
all
3
kinds of stuff.
women too.
You did?
Look.
Oh my gosh, what does it say?
It says, we are all sisters and reflect the divine in one another.
So
How
special.
cool. Oh, we're going to put these here.
I know. Love these cards so much. And they're just so beautiful too. Like I just even like the
Yeah.
back of them too. They're just all
I need to get this
so
deck.
different. I love this deck so much.
I need to get the fancy deck.
With the cool little box and everything.
Yeah.
I know. So yeah, so that's something that I like to do. Like pull a card. I pull cards almost every day.
And that's
but
like an easy if for somebody who has a card deck, or if you've been thinking of purchasing like an oracle deck, like this is a great one.
Yeah.
But especially the moon deck for the moon phases, this
Yeah.
is pretty really cool.
yeah, I love that. And it gives you a lot of tools in the back. So that's something that
Yeah.
I also really appreciate. So you're getting an oracle deck, but you're also getting like a nice toolbox as well. Like here are things that you can also do, which I really appreciate.
Like a long time ago, somebody gave me, because I was getting into like cards and I do oracle cards a lot. And on our Patreon, every Monday I read oracle cards individually. But she gave me this, I don't think she knew what it was, and I wasn't too familiar with it. And it was a tarot card, like tarot deck. And I was like, well, where's the little book?
oh yeah.
It's like, what are these, swords and this guy upside down mean?
do these cups
Like,
do?
yeah,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. I thought you would like them. And I was like, yeah, they're probably somewhere in storage. This is years ago, but that was one of my first introductions to cards, actually, the
Interesting.
tarot. Well,
Yeah.
the tarot before that, because I have had my tarot read when I was a teen.
Yeah.
But it's such a easy tool for those that do have, like the deck or a deck, and just to pull a card. It's like, oh, suddenly
Yeah.
you realize is first quarter. Let me just see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Just the intention. I feel.
And even just asking that question, like first quarter is like action, right? So it's
Yeah.
what actions do I need to take to bring this to fruition or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So like asking the right questions and pulling a card. But also, so just kind of bringing it back to like ritual magic. So the moon is powerful at every phase, and you can call upon her at any moment of guidance. And I like to look at the moon not only as like a physical entity, but also as a spiritual guide. That is just kind of guiding you along, especially as women through our cycles, right? But so with ritual magic, there is just a lot of things that you can do, like ritual or whatever, but it really comes down to the intention that you set, and your intuition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody out there that's like, gosh, I want to be a witch. I want to do all these things, right? Just do it.
Yeah.
Like it's not complicated. Like for one, like I don't follow any specific coven. I don't follow any specific guidelines around like what I can and can't do or whatever. Obviously stay on the light side, like avoid dark magic. It's my opinion. You can do whatever you want, but I do not condone that.
Yeah. And even though if anybody tries black magic, I always say, always make sure to come back, do a deep cleanse and like a lot of just clearing.
Totally.
Because I had one time, somebody I know said, well, I'm tired of all this light magic that doesn't work. And then I was like, well, you can do dark magic and it's probably going to work pretty quick, but it's going to take a toll on you. And she's like, well, either way, I'm going to suffer. So I'll pay for it later. And the only thing I don't know how long she worked on that and how long she was in it, but I saw her probably about 7 years ago. And this, she had told me this, I don't know, like 10 years ago prior. And she did not look okay. Her skin actually looked, she had to remember a lot of makeup on. Like you can tell she was always like very dolled up. But you can almost see like gray in her skin, like the color, like almost like life being like when you're extremely exhausted, almost like, you know, all the time. And I was like, I think she's still doing it. You know, I didn't ask her, but she did not look good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Black magic works because you're giving a part of your soul away.
oh, there you go. Well, that's kind of how
why it's fast. You're making a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the terrible way to say it, but it's kind of the truth. Like you're trading part of your essence, your soul, for whatever it is that you're asking for.
Yeah. I just thought it was
that's
very
what
sad.
happens. Yeah. You're literally just draining your life away. And how do you get it back? It's possible, but holy crap, it's hard.
Well, first, I don't know, you know.
I mean, how far do you, I guess it depends on how far you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, and I have heard from the lady that I do my family soul constellation. She's worked with people that have worked with dark magic in the past, trying to like help them and things like that. And she's like, Diana, you'll see. She's like, they look decrepit.
Yeah.
Just like it sucks the life out of them.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's not good.
Yeah, no way. And it's not sustainable. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like getting a quick fix. You know what I mean? It's not a sustainable way to live your life. And I think that if you can come at it from a place of, you know, do no harm, right? Like on every aspect of that, for yourself, for others, like, you know, what is the point of doing any of this work? And it's to, you know, spread the light, you know, to elevate the collective consciousness, right? To just create a safer, better place to be for everyone. You know, and eventually reach heaven or whatever that state is, you know what I mean?
That looks,
whatever enlightenment looks like or whatever, or making our way back to the soul plane or whatever, and to learn and to feel these feelings. And I think like people that kind of get into like the black magic and side of things tend to, I think that they have just like a lot of work to do, or this is my opinion, their souls are not inherently human. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah, for sure. But that's beside the point. Let's get back to the moon.
Yeah. And you know what? Right now that we're talking also on the reflect that I also was thinking about is how you mentioned, okay, it's like there was a reflection and reflecting on, you know, kind of what is well in your life, right? Like that gratitude. Like, and if we notice, everything kind of comes down to that. Through gratitude, we can actually bring things that we desire into our lives. Like often, I bet a lot of you have heard about like, be grateful for what you have now in order to get, you know, what you don't have yet. Like count your blessings now in a way and still have those desires for more. Completely okay. But make sure to not be like, well, I don't have still the boyfriend or the partner, or I don't have the XYZ and I'm just complaining about it, or the money or the car or the home, whatever that is. And you're just complaining about it. That's not going to bring it any faster. But if you're like, you know what, I don't have a partner, but I'm loving on myself really good. And I'm putting myself through, like you said, setting myself up, right? Preparing in order to later like take action. Maybe today I'm going to go to line dancing by myself, and you meet people, and maybe it's not the person of your dreams, but maybe you met the cousin, you know, that he's going to introduce you later on to somebody. You never know the connections that you're going to make. And so,
and I truly believe in that sense, just talking about like love and relationships for a second, that we are like our whole lives is preparing us like for something else. And it's just like, you know, when you want to open yourself up to magic and you want to do all these things, your soul or God or whatever you believe in is only going to give you enough that you can handle, right? Just enough. Like you're never going to be dealt cards that you can't handle. And I think that's his way, or the universe's way of kind of preparing you so that you can fully step into like this loving relationship instead of having these blocks up or sabotaging it later or whatever that is. But you have to do the work. You can't skip the steps. You know what I mean? And until we can learn to love ourselves, I know this is so cliche, but it's so true, and to honor ourselves. And I'm not saying you can't do that with a partner as well.
Of course.
But I think that if that's something that you are struggling with, like your priorities need to shift, you know? And I think that's just kind of a big part of it, is shifting those priorities and kind of focusing more on the things that are important to you outside of that. And like you were saying too about complaining constantly, well, that's the energy you're putting out in the world. That's the energy you're going to receive. So if you can focus on gratitude and love, that's the energy you're going to start putting out into the world. And I know it's easier said than done, right? But just think about that. Everything is energy.
It is. It is. It is. And we don't look at it because we live from our circumstances so much.
Totally. And I'm also speaking from I am not freaking perfect. Like, let's just say that right now.
You're not?
Like, I know. Sorry. Newsflash, everybody. So it's like, I'm saying all this stuff and like, yeah, I'm learning for myself as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a constant cycle. Like,
I think we're always in the process of learning you know, something of, trial and error and seeing how we align. And it's part of this school that we're in. And,
definitely.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So that's my take on the moon magic.
Yay! So now we're going to go with we always hear, our cycle is associated also or intertwines with the moon. And so I'm going to go a little bit of how they align.
I am so excited because I also did not touch on any of the ritual you can do with menstruation or anything.
Oh yeah, but we'll talk about that at the end because
super interesting. I don't know a ton about it, but
neither do I. But I just wanted to share the stuff that I know, and I want to know what you what you know.
I'm excited.
So we know, the menstrual cycles and the moon cycles are deeply connected and follow the similar rhythm of the 28, 29 days. And this is why people often associate menstruation with the moon. And it's as if the body is mirroring the natural cycles of the earth, which I really like. So how do they align? Both have 4 phases. So the menstrual high cycle has menstruation, the follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. The moon cycle has the new moon, waxing moon, full moon, and waning moon. So the new moon and menstruation is the inner winter. So just as the new moon is dark and marks the new beginning, menstruation is a time of renewal, rest, and inward reflection. Energy is at its lowest, just like the moon's light at its lowest. The waxing moon and follicular phase is the inner spring.
Oh my gosh, it's totally aligning with all the stuff. Okay, so excited.
As the moon begins to grow in light.
I'm sorry, you said follicular phase?
Follicular. Okay. Yeah. Is that a correct word? Okay.
Yeah.
My Spanglish, sorry. The body's energy starts to rise after menstruation. So the follicular phase is about growth and preparation, much like the moon increases in brightness. So now the full moon, we have ovulation, inner summer. The full moon is bright, vibrant, and magnetic, just like ovulation, when fertility and energy peaks. This is the most outward and social phase, mirroring the moon as its fullest. As its fullest power when we're ovulating, right? And that's when we're feeling the best. So waning moon and luteal phase, which is the inner autumn, as the moon starts to wane. Is it wane or wean?
Wane, yeah.
Wane. Energy slows down. The luteal phase is a time of turning inward, processing emotions, and preparing for the next cycle. Just like leaves fall in autumn, this phase prepares for a menstruation again. So why are they connected? So nature's rhythms, the body is influenced by natural cycles, just like the tides respond to the moon. So does our energy. Ancient wisdom. Many ancient cultures noticed this connection. Before artificial lighting, many people menstruated during new moon and ovulated with the full moon.
Fascinating.
Before artificial lighting. How crazy that these lights that are using are artificial.
Yeah, because you think about as you were talking through the first part, I was like it's so crazy to think. Yeah, in a perfect world, right? But how often everybody's on different cycles,
And how crazy it is that when you if you and I are together a lot, You know, it's
We
like we'll
sync.
sync. You
Yeah.
sync with other women.
So
I
interesting.
know. This is cool. So, hormonal balance and light exposure. Some researchers suggest the moon's lights can be subtly affect hormone production, which could explain why menstrual cycles align with lunar cycles. Not everyone follows this exact pattern, but recognizing the connection can help us tune into our natural rhythms and work with our body instead of against it.
You know what I just thought about? So the full moon is ovulation phase, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder how many animals follow. Like
Oh,
obviously they're
yeah.
probably not on a 28-day cycle, but I'm
Yeah.
curious like how many animals are kind of in that. And this is where my brain went. The connection between like werewolves
Oh,
and the full moon.
yeah. Maybe
you
they're
know?
calling. They're they're
Yeah,
going, "Woo-woo, where are the ladies?
yeah,
Where are the ladies?
Where the ladies at?
I'm ready to make." Oh,
All right, sorry.
How funny.
That happened.
Everybody's gonna think about it next full moon.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
Breed with a werewolf.
So this is something that what I'm going to talk next that I had learned about very little. So I'm very excited to talk because I didn't read it all because I want it to be a surprise, as you may be. But I have a friend who is very much into your moon cycle and what type of moon it is, not necessarily like a new moon, full moon, but it's like the white moon, the pink moon.
Got it.
There's so this is really cool. Okay. So the idea of menstrual moons come from ancient wisdom where people observe how their cycles align with the different moon phases depending on when you menstruated with the lunar cycle. It can symbolize different energies, purposes, and life phases. Below are the main menstrual moon cycles and their meanings. Okay. So they do like so if you are with the full moon, it's a particular moon.
Got it.
The white moon cycle is menstruating on the new moon.
When you started
Menstruating on the new moon, white moon cycle. And there's a symbolism with it. So if your white moon cycle, it symbolizes fertility, intuition, nurturing, inner reflection. This is the most common cycle and is linked to traditional motherhood and nurturing energy. The new moon is a time of rest and renewal, mirroring how the body sheds its old lining to prepare for new life. Women on this cycle are often in a phase of deep introspection, healing, and self-care, historically associated with wise women, caregivers, and those focusing on home and family. Red moon cycle, menstruating on the full moon, symbolizing creativity, leadership, healing, spiritual awakening. Opposite of the white moon cycle, the red moon cycle is linked to priestesses, healers, witches, and wisdom keepers.
This is what moon? Sorry.
The red moon. So when you're menstruating on the full moon.
Interesting. So I was born on the full harvest moon.
Ooh.
Which is interesting. And I usually do sync with the full moon.
I love that.
That's super interesting.
I love that. I can't. Oh,
That's
I was
good.
like, I was like, what?
What the heck is happening?
It's not Tucker's. It's the ghost. This cycle was often seen in shamans, spiritual leaders, and healers who were focused on serving the world rather than traditional motherhood. The full moon brings heightened emotions and energy, making this a powerful time for spiritual growth, manifestation, and transformation. Those with this moon cycle are often in a phase of self-discovery, purpose-driven work, or personal evolution. So now the pink moon cycle, menstruating on the waxing moon. Pink, I've been on this one. I remember. That symbolizes growth, new beginnings, and transformation. The waxing moon represents building energy and momentum, and so does this cycle. This phase is about setting intentions, personal development, and moving towards a goal. If your cycle aligns with the pink moon waxing phase, it may mean you're in a season of self-expansion, learning, and growth, physically, emotional, or spiritually. And purple moon, menstruating on the waning moon, symbolizes release, intuition, wisdom, surrender. The waning moon is a time of letting go, slowing down, and preparing for a new cycle, just like the luteal phase leading to menstruation. Women with this cycle often find themselves in a period of deep reflection, healing, or closure, letting go of old patterns, relationships, or beliefs. This is a powerful phase for spiritual work, inner wisdom, and preparing for a new chapter in life.
That is so weird. I mean, that's super cool because I was just thinking about how sometimes, you know, you shift, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't stay on each cycle.
Yeah.
Like you can jump cycles, and that was the last cycle that I was on, was that one, preparing for a new chapter, which is so interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah, so it just says here, like some women even move, it's just like understanding your menstrual moon cycle. So yes, you know, your cycle may shift, like you were saying, between the different phases, aligning with different moons. And I've definitely been all around. I've been all of the moons.
I'm sure. I just can't think. I mean, wasn't aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just some women even move between the white and red moon cycles.
Wow.
I've done that too at different times. Now that I'm reading, I was like, oh yeah, because my friend has always texted me about it.
So interesting.
By tracking your cycle alongside the moon, you can deepen your connection with your body and spiritual path, using each phase for intentional growth, healing, and self-awareness.
I love that. So you can get so specific with your ritual, with your practice.
Just like everything you shared and knowing this, it's like technology that women have that we have this power that if we were really intentional and really used it, you know, poop will hit. We'll shut up the fan. Okay.
No wonder they burned the witches.
Yeah.
We're freaking powerful.
Yeah.
They were scared.
Yeah.
And they should be.
Women are portals of life.
Totally.
Like that's why
Yes.
they wanted to
nothing
make
else.
it dirty too.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're bleeding. You have to hide and you have to do
It's
yes, of
shameful.
course. Yes.
Yeah.
Shame and all those things.
Yeah.
But
Think about when, like, do you remember when you first started your period?
kind of. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, I remember, I mean, I just wasn't scared. I mean, I knew exactly what to do, and it was fine. I was like, I told my mom, like, started bleeding. She's like, oh, cool, you good?
Yeah.
Like,
I think my mom took me to lunch.
yeah, it was like,
it was
she's
like-
like, you want to eat some ice cream? Like, let's get ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, it was totally,
Yeah.
like, not a big deal. It was just like, awesome. Like, you know, but I remember having conversations with my mom about it because I would ask her and be like, what is this for? And like holding a tampon, like I found in her drawers or whatever. She would just tell me, you know? But
Sorry, I just thought of that when I was a kid. I remember we were up in the like LA area with my cousins. I don't know. My mom laughs and my aunt always talks about it because
Thanks for listening. And don't forget to
I
follow us
found
on
a
social media
patch
at Witches Who
and I put it
Podcast.
under my arm. And I thought that's where they went.
that is awesome.
Because I would see, like, if they were going to go to the bathroom, they will put a pad under their arm and, like, walk it over there.
Because you
if they
didn't want
have
anybody to
pockets.
see it.
Yeah, you didn't want anybody to see it and things like that. So I must have been, like, 5 or something. And I grabbed one and I just put it under my arm and walking around with a pad, this little
That is
5-year-old.
so great.
And I thought that's where it went. That's what
Well,
you
yeah.
do.
That's what you
know?
saw everybody doing.
Yeah. That's
Totally. Oh my gosh, that's
good thing I
hilarious.
learned.
Yeah, right. But it's so true, you know, that it's like you're almost taught to be like to hide it, right?
Yeah.
That it's shameful that, you know, that you put a tampon in your pocket and you pat under the armpit. Don't let anybody see that you're going to the bathroom. You know, and God forbid you bleed through, you know, oh my gosh, is that not the worst feeling in the whole world?
Did you ever?
Like, oh yeah, that's happened to me for sure.
Yeah, me
At
too.
school and everything else. I
That's-
remember like tying a sweatshirt around my waist,
yeah.
going to the nurse's office, like
Yeah.
everything. I remember my mom came and picked me up from school once because she's just like, I wouldn't want to feel this way. Just all kinds of stuff. And I remember like when you're not prepared, you have to go to the nurse's office to get a tampon or a pad, and how like they're like the worst ones like they make, and it's like the worst thing ever. But I started my period super early.
I was going to ask you, how old were you?
I was like 12, like super early, like in
dang,
junior
yeah.
high early, like early. And I remember, you know, like just feeling like I needed to help everybody else, where I was just like, I still am always prepared. Like always have a tampon, always have something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can always count on me. I always have snacks and tampons.
Yeah.
Always. And
What a good mom.
right. Always. And it's funny too, because like at work, everybody knows that, like students and everything. They're like, what snacks you got today?
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a tampon? Like always, you know, it's so funny. But I felt the need like in high school and junior high to help everybody out,
Yeah.
even people that I didn't even know. Like I remember one time there was a girl crying in the bathroom and I was like under the stall. I was like, hey, are you okay? She goes, I don't know. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, can I help? Are you okay? Like what? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I started my period and I don't have it. I was like, well, let me help you. I'm like,
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
like, here's all the
Aw.
stuff. Like, here's something that we've all done. Take like 18 paper towels
yeah.
and stack those bitches
Yeah.
up in your underwear.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Yeah.
Like, I just always felt the need to support, but it's like, why are we so conditioned to be
Yeah.
like ashamed of it?
I don't know. And there's some women that hate it because I remember right now talking about like high school and like school days. I remember it happened, I think, in junior high and it happened in high school where we will go to the women's bathroom and somebody had smeared like, the
Yeah.
blood like on the walls.
Oh,
and it
that's
wasn't even
just
like
gross.
in a ritualist way.
Yeah. It was just-
ritualistic way. It was just like,
Oh.
like, and I remember hearing that it was like, people are just pissed that they got their period and stuff. And I don't know. But
Yeah.
something interesting they said, so in Mexico, we wouldn't have tampons.
Yeah.
It would be only pads because, you will be devirginized.
Oh,
Like
interesting. Huh.
And
didn't know that.
everybody, according to the school, was a virgin.
Yeah, yes. Oh, duh. Still am. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
funny.
That's funny. I never even thought about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know. In my what I would think about when you're not a virgin is when like your hymen breaks. But I
Yeah.
guess like that could be.
Well, they would say that could rupture the hymen.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
if you've never.
yeah, so-
but a lot of my friends wore tampons. I did not wear a tampon until I was, oh my gosh. Okay, I was working for a nonprofit. I had Leo already. So this was maybe 2008.
Oh, wow.
Until I used,
Yeah.
my friend taught me in the bathroom
Honestly,
at my work.
Probably safer.
Yeah.
That you
Yeah.
didn't.
She, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So-
Like there's so many tampons that are full of crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like I spend way too much money on all cotton organic tampons. Like,
Absolutely. No,
I
absolutely.
can't get into like the menstrual cup.
Yeah.
I want to so bad, but like I don't trust it for some reason.
Oh.
Like I feel like it's gonna shift and then just all hell's gonna break loose.
Yeah, it does. I
don't
have
know.
a tilted uterus.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
And I haven't used a cup in
Oh,
years.
yeah.
But when I used to have like a 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a heavy bleeder, I would use that. And my thing that was scared, it was pulling that sucker out
Yeah.
because
Is it messy?
for me, I bleed heavily and it
Yeah.
was like a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if I,
And then how do you
Pour it.
clean it? Like what do you do in the bathroom? Like in your
No, in the
public?
back. Okay, this is what kind of like you have to put it back in. You can't go rinse it because
Yeah.
you boil these. You sterilize them.
Oh,
So
got
you
it.
use one cup and you can just like pull it out and empty it into the toilet,
and
and
then
then
put
put
it
it back on.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and
Okay.
all that. But it worked. I couldn't believe it. And I have friends that use it at night.
Oh, that makes sense. They
Yeah,
can sleep through
and
the
they're
night
like
and not have to worry
nothing,
about it.
no mess, no nothing, just some, all
Yeah.
of that. But yeah, these are conversations that could be shameful.
These are
like
so
talking.
taboo.
Yeah,
Like,
and I talk to my boys all the time. And with their girlfriends, I'm like, make sure if she's on her period, she's, and they'll tell me, it's like, oh, she's on her period, mom. I remember one
Yeah.
of them is like, my girlfriend's on her period, just like you. I was like, we synced, but
so funny.
but then, for me, I was like, I have, like a pad or a tampon out, or it's not, I don't want my boys to shame make any woman feel like
Or
it's
be
shameful,
uncomfortable about it. Like that's so odd to me.
just-
Like my dad would never buy tampons in a million years.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but my husband does, like I've sent him to the store since we were in high school to buy tampons, doesn't care. Also, like, I mean, he grew up in a household full of women. You know what I mean? I mean, so did my dad. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. But it's just,
Yeah.
generational, right? Like now we've come to such a, different place and time where we're able to talk more about this stuff and be more open about it. But before it was just like, the crazy woman or whatever. And it was like when women were on their cycles, like they were just like kind of shunned, right? Like
Yeah.
you had to free bleed.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't do anything.
They will send them away.
Yeah.
They're like on, go hide them
So crazy.
because they're bleeding. And that is crazy.
Yeah, they're what was it? It's like you're dirty, you're unpure or something,
yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah. That's so crazy. Like,
Say it right,
no,
say
it is
I
a
don't like-
beautiful thing. You're a freaking woman. You're ruled by the moon.
Yeah.
Your blood is powerful.
Yes, that's
know?
the other thing.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of the times when I saw the blood like in the cup, I was like, man, I can do something with it. It almost looked like a little cup,
Yeah.
like you can even drink it, but I wouldn't drink it.
People do it.
I know, but it is a lot of iron
It's a
in it.
ton of
so I was
iron.
like, oh my gosh, like putting it on your face. I'm not quite there yet. And
Yeah.
I better
Wow.
get to it sometime soon because I'm going to start menopause later and I'm going to miss
You're not
out.
gonna have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but I understand how powerful it is, and I mean it's your body, right? I mean, what is so crazy about that versus like keeping your placenta,
Oh yeah.
right? Like
No.
encapsulating it or whatever, using it. I mean, every animal eats the placenta immediately, you know. So why is that so? So it's super taboo to use your menstrual blood, but eating your placenta or encapsulating it or whatever is pretty. I mean, it's very well accepted now.
Yeah.
You know,
It is. Some people still are like, no, there's, no benefits on it. It's like there's a
there's
lot,
a lot
of
of
benefits.
benefits. Yeah. But menstrual blood can be used in, I highly recommend using your own menstrual blood.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know what other people's, first of all, ew, kind of, just not to shame anybody, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
My opinion. But I've heard a lot of ritual magic done with menstrual blood. One, it's extremely potent, super powerful, full of iron, which we've learned in previous episodes. It's a super powerful metal. And it's good for you. That's why, like, if you've ever taken birth control pills when you're on your cycle, you're literally you're just taking iron tablets during that time because your body is excreting so much iron, which is in your blood. It's also the shedding of the lining of your uterus.
Yeah.
So it's super powerful, charged energy. It's literally like that part of your uterus, that skin is where your egg implants.
Yeah.
Right. And that is the beginning of life. So you're shedding this skin and this blood that has so much energy that was literally ready to harness life. That now is soaked in by a tampon. You know what I mean? So it's like you can harness that energy and channel that energy and use it in ritual. So you could even put your menstrual blood in a spell jar. You could use your menstrual blood to mix different tinctures, different different things. You can put herbs in it. You can bury it in the ground. You can make face masks out of it. So iron is really good for your skin.
Yeah.
I've actually
I wanna
heard
do
people.
that.
I know, right? I've heard people of using it to make cosmetic products out of, like makeup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it can be lipstick, blush,
Yeah.
all different
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I'm all rosy next time you see me.
I'm like, oh, that's a good color on you, and you got to think it came from your body. I bet you it's probably right around
better
like
than
your
whatever
color.
you buy.
Yeah,
that
totally.
It says is clean beauty. This is really
This is
clean
actually
beauty.
clean beauty.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I
People
lost
make
any of you
art.
there,
Yeah. Sorry.
sorry, but
Yeah. No. So I have a friend. I'll call her a friend. She does some art.
oh, interesting.
So with it,
That's probably
Not
pretty
often,
cool.
but
Actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
she's done, and it's so interesting because I have kind of thought about it. Like if you ever, I know this episode is getting more into our cycles, but if you ever, you're a bleeding person out there, and if you ever just kind of, you went to pee and you bleed straight, maybe pass a little lump, not a lump. What am I thinking about? Like when it gets a little heavier.
Yeah.
But then you look at the water, it makes like certain designs.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You
Yeah.
know, like in the body and in the bodies of water. And sometimes I'm like, oh, that looks so pretty.
Yeah.
I want
Totally.
to take a picture.
Yeah. It's like when you pour the cream into coffee.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it's like, oh, this geometric.
Yeah.
You know.
It's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Don't shame the blood.
No.
You came from it. You came from a person
Exactly.
who bled in order to have you, and we need to normalize it. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Normalize
not gross and
appearance.
icky. It's literally life.
it is, and it's powerful, and
Yeah.
we can make a good spell against you. No,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
make you into a frog. This has been so fun. I love
I feel like I learned so much just from, and like also they don't teach you any of this stuff in school, like the luteal phase, the follicular phase. They teach you about ovulation and menstruation. That is it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's update our school systems, people. Like, get it together.
I think, when did you had like a sex ed class? Was it a whole class or was it like a 1-day workshop?
Yeah, I think in junior high we had like a little workshop day where everybody got pads and stuff and deodorant, you know. And then maybe that was in 6th grade, I think.
Okay.
But I remember freshman year of high school was when we got like sex ed class.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, we learned how to use condoms and what birth control was and how to have a baby, like all that stuff. But they don't teach you anything specific like that. You know what I mean? Where like, how do you actually take care of yourself? What does this really mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like in the more knowledge that you have, at least this is just me, the more empowered that I feel that I can make positive decisions. And we think about, you know, like, you know, teen pregnancies and all that kind of stuff. It's like maybe if we understood our bodies and got more connected to our bodies, we'd be able to make better informed decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I think I had in Mexico, we didn't have a sex ed class. I think I had like a 1-day workshop, like a few hours of like, you know, all the women have to go. And everybody's like, ah. It's like,
I don't think it was like a full like class. I think it was just like a couple weeks or maybe it was like one semester or something. I don't remember, but it wasn't the whole class.
It was very.
We had to do like the STD game. Did you ever play that?
No, what is that?
You get a bunch of M&Ms. And everybody has to like swap it, or it's what is it? It's like the same color. There's 2 different color M&Ms. And everybody has to keep swapping M&Ms or whatever. Like every time, like, so I'm not explaining this well at all because I can't really remember what it is, but it was basically like to represent like how fast STDs can spread. And so it was like every time like you have to trade your M&M out for a different color if you like had sex with this person. So then you had sex with this person, you had to switch your M&Ms out. And then pretty soon everybody has red M&Ms and we're all infected with herpes, right? Like it was it was actually really impactful when we did it. I don't remember. I'm not explaining it well. I'll look it up later. And but it was actually really fun. And then my teacher at the end goes, all right, now look at your M&Ms. Like they're all sweaty and gross. She goes, do you want to eat those M&Ms? We're like, no. It was really funny. That is horrible. But it was super impactful. It made you really think about it. Like, you're right. Ew. You know?
Wear a condom.
Yeah.
Don't sleep with a slutty person.
Yeah, it's like, well, if I was wearing a glove, my hands wouldn't look like this.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you don't want to do that.
That's funny.
Oh, how funny.
But yeah.
Well, this has been so fun.
Yes.
I love it. We learned a lot. I learned a lot. I'm
same.
Super curious to see where I'm at with the moon phase. Actually, my period is on Friday, so
hey,
who knows? I may report back on a ritual. So
fun.
I know I have to see where I fall. So if you see my skin shining bright, it's not the beautiful light. I may not have done something. So thank you, everyone. We can't wait to, hear from you. Send us your spooky stories.
Yes, please.
We read spooky stories every 10 episodes. We had an episode coming out every Thursday, and we are excited that you're here. And if you like us and want to hear more about us, please give us a review. Make it a really good one.
5 stars.
Yes, please. A 5-star review. Continue to support us. And if you want some more, well, join us on our Patreon. We do a lot of workshops and a lot of fun stuff is there. And it's only for $5 a month, which is less than Netflix or the coffee that you will buy. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't know. Probably.
All right. All right. Well, go get a moon deck and pull some cards for each face.
Yes.
All right. Well, till next time. Besitos. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to follow us on social media at Witches Who Podcast.